Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a voiceover and this is my beautiful client of many years, Shatila. She is one of the most loyal I have had for a long time. So Shatila loves a full glam with quite a bright under eye, so I really have to ensure that I prep the skin perfectly for this. As always, I use a hydrating serum or lotion on the skin. I've used eye cream. I'm now applying a gel plumping moisturizer by Labo Tokyo. I find this really good for underneath makeup. I always ensure to really massage this into the face and the neck. I also used the Huda Beauty Easy Blur primer on Shatila so that we can get that really flawless finish. So I've recently gone back to using the Huda Beauty stick foundations. Now these are really beautiful for pretty much all skin types. If you do get a little bit more dry, then maybe avoid these. Overall, these give a really beautiful coverage. They are very good on texture. I find stick foundations are really smoothing. So I'm actually mixing two types of concealer here. I have got the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer as always, and then I've mixed a slight bit of the Hourglass concealer too, just for extra coverage and staying power. I don't know what it is, I just love to mix concealers and use multiple ones. I find it gives a really good finish. So you can see, perfect example again, I don't ever use the concealer actually on the eyelid. I just use it under the brow bone and around the eyes. For brows, the last time I did Shatila's makeup, we did more of a laminated brow. So this time we went for more of a soft kind of sculpted look instead. I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow shadows. I have used them for years. They're just an absolute classic. And no brow is complete for me anymore without using a brow pen. So I just add in hair strokes using a pen. This one is the Oh Pretty in Ash Brown. So I just wanted to bring in a little bit of colour to the skin. So I just shaded out the edges of the face just so it didn't look like one blank canvas. I did this using the same concealers in a few shades darker just so that we can get a nice soft kind of bronze to the skin. And I always get into the ears as well because nothing looks complete until the ears match. For the eye look, we wanted a really sultry, smoky kind of bronzy gold glam. As always, I have to start off with my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. This is an all-time palette for me. Like, I cannot live without this palette. It is super versatile and it works on absolutely every skin tone. You can see that I dip my brush into quite a few different shades just in order to get the tones that I want to create that transition. And I never like to press too hard with the brush on the eye. It should always be a really light pressure. This way it avoids you making any major mistakes, but also starting lighter with the shadows will avoid you making any kind of harsh lines that we don't want. It really is just a matter of slowly building on the shades. So I'm still building up on those kind of neutral transition shades before I go any deeper, and always stick to a fluffy brush rather than something that's more flat and defined. I usually use something more flat and defined on the bottom lash line, as you can see that shadow underneath the eye. Somehow I didn't get that on camera, but I am now just cleaning up with concealer. I also use this as a way to wing out the eyeshadow. So after creating the shape with the softer shadows, I go in with a more defined brush. This is very small and dense, and this is to create a smokier lash line. So I'm going right into where the lashes grow. I've also added a gel liner to the waterline so that we can get that intensity in the lash line. Also using the gel liner on the top lash line and blending that out using the same brush. I really love gel liners. I find that they're really versatile, so you can use them in many ways, but they also stay so well. To create a really soft blend, I'll usually go back over like I am now with the Master Mattes palette just to blend out those edges. This palette that I'm using now is actually a really old Illamasqua kind of foil metal cream texture. I actually don't think they do this product anymore, but this was at the peak of Illamasqua and I had to get it because it was just so unusual at the time. I did top it off with this Tom Ford Honeymoon palette. This is such a beautiful palette and the texture of the shadows are gorgeous. I'm really not a huge fan of any shadows that give a kind of bitty, kind of glittery effect. I really like them to look smooth and creamy. So you can see we did another light layer to brighten the under eye, and now I'm curling the lashes before I get the individuals on. I do find that curling the lashes is quite a crucial stage, especially with individual lashes, as they curl quite nicely, so I want the lashes to kind of blend in with them. These curlers are much easier to use for anyone. They're a half curler and they're from MAC. And obviously I'm using the Sweet Beauty No Lash lashes to add some volume to the lash. Shatila isn't a lover of lashes, so she is someone I always use individuals on if I'm going to use lashes at all. Adding in some colour to the face finally. This is a mixture of products once again. There is definitely a mix of Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light ones and also the Huda Beauty liquid blushers. Going in and setting around those areas with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder. This is the shade Banana Bread and a slight bit of Blondie as well. I generally use different shades around the face, especially because Shatila loves that bright under eye. So my combo for around the eye area is this one first, which is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder. Main reason I'm using this one is because it reminds me of the Givenchy. It's much softer and lighter weight, very, very buttery. But you will see me now go in with the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Cake because I want these areas to look super bright. And I'm not a massive baker, as you know, but I did leave it on for just a few minutes. Going into where those liquid blushers were and topping it off with powder blusher. Obviously, this is something not everyone has to do, but it's more for camera and staying power. The cream highlight you saw me adding was MAC cream colour bases in the shades Improper Copper and Hush. I love mixing those together and they bring back that skin-like glow. And finishing the lip with Warm Brown by Huda Beauty lip liner. And then these two are shades by Fenty. I love these at the moment. It is Tulip Kiss and Blaze Donut. I'm also really loving mixing setting sprays. So I do 2 different layers and then I use a fan just to make sure everything's set in nicely. We actually really enjoyed filming this. My phone did die halfway through, so you probably see the difference in camera or colour or quality, whatever it is. But this is the final look. I hope you've enjoyed this type of video. Look how gorgeous she looks. I call her Pocahontas. I think she's absolutely stunning. Anyway, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you next time.